Good morning students. In today's class we are going to discuss about the principles of corporate governance. As you all know, corporate governance we have already discussed. It is nothing but the rules and regulations to be followed in the corporate sector to govern the organization in a well manner. Now, what is this principles of corporate governance? Principles means, as you all know, it is the rules and regulations. Now, what are the rules and regulations or the principles of corporate governance? Coming to the first one, principle of shareholder recognition. Now, shareholders means what? Who are called as the owners and risk takers of the organization. So, they have to maintain, the organization should maintain a good relationship with the shareholders. If you want to maintain a good relationship with the shareholders, you have to give importance to the shareholders. You should allow them to participate in the meetings. You should allow them to speak out and raise their voice and give some suggestions and take part in decision making. So, this is the most important principle of corporate governance. Since they are the investors of the organization, we have to give importance by recognizing the shareholders. Now, coming to the second one, principle of stakeholders interest. Now, what is the difference between shareholders and stakeholders? Many times I have discussed with you in the earlier classes. Shareholders are the investors and the risk takers. Stakeholders are the beneficiaries of the organization who are directly or indirectly connected and interested to know the financial position of the company. So, the stakeholders may be such as bankers, creditors, board of directors, debenture holders, shareholders, etc. Now, we have to recognize the interest of the stakeholders, what do they want, and to maintain a positive relationship with them, you have to give maximum benefit to the stakeholders of the organization. Coming to the third point, principle of board responsibilities must be clearly outlined. See, the responsibilities of the board of directors and the vision and mission statement of the company should be discussed in the board meetings, and it must be clearly outlined to the shareholders, and it is the responsibility of the board of directors to discuss and with the shareholders. It is their responsibility to make it clear the goals of the organization. Coming to the fourth one, principle of ethical behavior. See, a code of conduct regarding the ethical decisions has to be established. That is, in the board meetings, you should follow the ethical behavior and you should try to solve the legal problems which are going to occur in the future, and you should be ready to face the problems and challenges of the organization. Coming to the last point, principle of business transparency. See, the organization should not hide anything. There should not be any hidden transaction. They should maintain transparency in their financial records, and it has to be disclosed to the interested people, and they should maintain along with the bills, vouchers, and it has to be disclosed whenever it is required. I hope all of you have understood all the points of principle of corporate governance. So these are the basic rules and regulations which has to be followed in each and every corporate sector. Now let's move on to the next topic. So our next topic is stacking. So I think this is a new term which everyone would have not known, and some people might be hearing the word for the very first time. So now let's know what is the meaning of stacking. Now, stacking is nothing but due to the rapidly growing lending channels, we have seen many small business firms get into the trap of accepting multiple loans to fund their daily operations. This is called as stacking. See, generally if you take any person, always if you keep getting a calls from the banks, different banks, that they are providing the loans for less interest rate, reasonable interest rate and all. Sometimes even though you don't require any loans, because they are providing for less interest rate, you might get into the trap that you might start purchasing unnecessary items or which is beyond your limit, because you are getting the funds for the less interest rate. So stacking is something like that. Due to the lending channels which are available, even the small business firms, they start accepting many loans, multiple loans, and they start spending in their operations, and they might get into trouble. While taking the loans, it will be very easy, but once you are repaying many loans, interest rates and all, you feel much burden and you are into trouble. Coming to the next topic, conflicts of interest. Now, what do you mean by conflicts? Conflicts is nothing but there is a misunderstanding between the two people and there is no proper good relationship due to misunderstanding. Now, we are speaking in terms of the business. Let's see what is conflicts of interest. Conflicts of interest arise when an individual personal interest such as family, friendship, financial and social factors have a clash with the decisions or actions in the workplace. So, if a person is not in a position to balance the workplace and his personal life, that is his family, friendship and financial and social factors, then he starts struggling between the workplace atmosphere and his personal life, and he will be facing the problem in both the places, and he is not able to have a peaceful life in both the places. So, he is not able to have a work balance. So, this is the reason for conflicts of interest. Now, coming to the next topic, nominee director. Who is a nominee director? Nominee director is an individual nominated on the board of companies by the members at the meeting to make sure that the company does not have insufficient funds. See, whenever the company is in need of funds, you should have a source of income who is ready to invest the funds. So, nominee directors are such people, whenever the company is in need of funds, they are ready to invest for the company need. So, nominee director is an individual. They will be elected in the board of meeting by the other board members, and he will be named as a nominee director. So, whenever there is insufficient of funds, they will make sure that they are ready to invest for the company. Okay, students. I hope all of you have understood about the nominee director. So, in today's class, we have discussed about the principles of corporate governance, stacking meaning, conflicts of interest and nominee director. So, in these topics, if you have any doubt, you can let me know.